In today's video, we'll be taking a look at KeyShot Shift Lens. This tool is commonly used in architectural and interior photography. The Shift Lens is often used to control image perspective without tilting the physical camera. This shift in lens helps maintain vertical lines and avoids distortion, giving us a more satisfying composition. So as you can see in this example, on the left is a picture taken without any shift lens, and those vertical lines aren't perfectly straight. Whereas on the right, a shift lens has been used and those vertical lines are now all parallel to each other. So how do we do this in KeyShot? Firstly, if you go to the camera tab on the right, and under the lens settings, you've got perspective, orthographic, shift and panoramic. We click on the shift, you can see that the camera moves slightly, and we get presented with these options here. To make it easier to visualize, I can press O on the keyboard to bring up the geometry view. I'll place that over on the left hand side, and if we zoom in we can see what's happening when we change the options. Changing the focal length is just the same as in perspective mode, so we can up this to, let's say, 50mm. Field of view, if I increase this, you can see the camera doesn't move, but the red square showing what we can see in the real-time viewer, and what will be ultimately rendered out, is changing size. Now with vertical shift, if I increase this, you'll see that it moves the field of view square upwards, but the actual camera stays in exactly the same position. Similarly with the horizontal shift, you can move it left to right, again without the camera moving at all. This horizontal shift can be useful when working on the composition of your shot. For example, centering a part like this lamp. You can turn the grid on and adjust it slightly. As mentioned previously, the vertical shift allows us to straighten those vertical lines that we can see. So if you look at the corner of this wall on the left, you see it's a lot closer to the edge than it is at the bottom. And similarly with these other straight lines, they're also not parallel to each other. So we can change that vertical shift using the slider and try and even it up. But there's a much easier way of doing this, and that's where this estimate vertical shift button comes in. After clicking estimate vertical shift, KeyShot automatically calculates the optimal vertical shift for your scene based on the current camera position. If I press that, you'll see that these lines are now all parallel, and I can turn on my grid, start playing around with the composition once again. So that's a quick guide to the shift lens option, and if you have any questions, please just leave them as a comment below.